You don't believe, nobody else is going to believe.
To get something you never had, you have to do something you never did.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode. I'm your host, Sharmarke from the Paper Trails Podcast, and today we have another Sharmarke with us. We are collecting Sharmarkes like it's Pokemon balls. What was it? This is the second Sharmarke. This is 3 Sharmarkes that we've had, well, including me.
Yeah.
And I feel like we've gone through half of our population, you know. There can't be many left.
There's
a
few, you know.
There's a few.
They're hidden, they're there.
They're hidden, yeah.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen any that's kind of like out there like that, you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to find, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the Sharmarkes out there, you know what I mean? Holla at your boy, we're all here. We all promote ourselves.
We're here, man.
But of course, I want to also say, Yamina.
Oi, come on.
Because it wouldn't make sense unless I did that, introducing our boy, Sharkysensei.
Yeah.
I'll say probably the only sort of I've seen Japanese content out there that's proper like wholesome. The only other Somali Japanese guy that I've seen is that streamer.
Who is this?
Oh, have you seen others? Because that's the only one I've ever seen.
Streamer?
There's a streamer that did not do a good job.
Oh, really? I don't know this person.
Yeah, it's called something Japanese Somali, something like that.
Japanese Somali. You know, when I went to start the page, I was looking for names like this, Japanese Somali, but they had gone. I was thinking someone. I don't know who it is.
No,
it might be that guy.
That guy did a horrible job for our community. We just want to say we don't support him. We don't condone him. We don't.
Really?
He would just go to like different places in Japan, and he would just like, obviously he's live streaming. He just go start shouting in different places.
Shouting why?
Causing problems, being a nuisance, because that's what was funny. And then the Japanese people kicking him out of shops and restaurants, and like people working in the warehouse would just go in there and just cause
we don't do that. We don't do that. I've never heard of this person.
That's what I'm saying, and it's good. It's good that you haven't.
That's crazy, yeah?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So now we have a wholesome ambassador of our Somali community.
I try, man. I try.
And obviously, this is a podcast that's also mainly about books, and everything that we like to do is always when we have a guest is, you know, try and get their little background into like sort of reading, if they were into reading, and I kind of wanted to know a bit about yours to get to know you a bit better.
Yeah. So like you said, obviously I'm Sharmarke. Hello everybody, and reading. So obviously at university you are forced to read.
Yeah.
Whichever. Mainly, well, at the university I studied the humanities subject, politics, and lots of like reading in terms of the topics of like decolonization.
Yeah.
And those sorts of things.
Yeah. Like just proper like uni studying work.
Yeah, quite hardcore reading, which isn't leisurely reading.
Yeah.
And for leisure reading, I'm not the biggest. To be honest with you, I'll tell you guys from the get-go. Huh?
No, of course. We might have to kick you out now. But
yeah, but the book that I had a liking to, I don't know if you're going to introduce it or something, was this book called Hiroshima. And Sharmarke said earlier, Sharks said, I'm Sharkysensei, and I do Japanese teaching, as in like daily or maybe like a couple of times a week posting Japanese content on my Instagram and my TikTok. Yeah. Inshallah, soon to be YouTube Shorts.
Okay.
When I actually get the YouTube up and running, inshallah. That's the plan.
Is it?
Yeah, man.
It's a little exclusive drop, yeah?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I need to charge for this stuff, man. I need to charge for this.
Saying. Oh, you're a fellow Sharmarke, bro.
Yeah, come on, man. But yeah, inshallah, when we move on to the YouTube and the content starts coming on there, maybe start putting on the shorts, inshallah.
Inshallah.
But so the book is that we've do you want to introduce
the one just behind me? I was gonna say, what kind of sort of got you into the whole Japanese culture? Was it going in for, was it A-levels, or was it like, what was like your first introductions into the Japanese culture?
To be honest, there's a Japanese word, it's called guzen. Guzen means by chance. Obviously it's the qadr of Allah, right? But I went to a secondary school that offered Japanese from the get-go. So you're in year 7, right? Okay. And you have this carousel. And then they you have your normal ones, German, French, Spanish.
yeah.
Then the fourth was for us, Japanese.
Oh, wow, you had that option.
From year 7, yeah.
That's crazy.
So anyone who went to the school I went to, I'm not going to harp the school. They know from the get-go that we have the option to choose that, right?
Yeah.
And when it came to picking my GCSEs, you have to fill out a slip and you choose a language. It was compulsory to choose a language. I didn't bring the slip back.
Okay.
So they put me in Japanese.
All right. So it was all just by chance.
Guzen.
Yeah, Guzen.
Bro, you get it?
I'm having a real Instagram moment here.
You get it? We're learning.
I'm learning.
So GCSE, alhamdulillah, I done well.
Yeah.
I didn't intend to pick it for A level,
Yeah.
but there was someone who was in the A level class, and I had picked 3 ASs to begin with.
Yeah.
And then she just said, "Come check out the class." I checked it out. I liked it. I chose it. And then after that, even when I went to university, I didn't initially study Japanese either.
Yeah.
I studied history, single subject.
Okay.
But at the end of my first year, I didn't enjoy it. So I changed it.
Okay.
And I chose politics and Japanese joint honors.
Yeah.
And that's where really it happened. And even after I finished university, it wasn't my lifelong ambition to continue Japanese forever, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's the truth. I always had it in the back of my mind, I need to do something with this language that I've learned.
Yeah.
And
how far into a language were you at that point?
So
when you were doing in uni?
Like very far.
Very
To be honest, my thesis was about it's called Shoshikoreka, which is about the declining population in Japan.
Yeah.
So they've got lots of old people and not enough young people. So the birth rate is declining, but people are living long lives.
Okay.
So the workforce is diminishing, and that's a big societal problem they have there.
Yeah.
And my thesis was about that in Japanese. So
you wrote this in Japanese?
yeah.
So this is good, bro. This is I thought you meant like when you said I got further.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like you could speak here and there, like you could. But you're writing whole thesis in Japanese.
Yeah. So that's what I had to do. That's part of the course.
Yeah.
And when I was there studying as well, in my year abroad, I was studying in Japanese university, obviously furthering my knowledge of the language.
Yeah.
And then
where was it in Japan?
Up in the north in Hokkaido.
Hokkaido, yeah.
And within Hokkaido, a small little town called Hakodate.
Yeah. So you don't mind hot in that part. Yeah.
Hakodate, that's my bits, man.
Yeah.
That's my bits. Like, I love that place.
Yeah.
So maybe like when I go back, I'll go visit, and I still have some friends in the area. So
okay.
I may go back. Yeah, but Hakodate, man, it's amazing. Japanese people know about it. But other than that, people don't know about it. But it's
okay, so you know what? This is quite interesting because obviously, usually, I think a lot of people that I've seen kind of get into the Japanese culture is through anime.
Yes. So this net.
My saw this there. What's
So
that?
this net.
You got to also translate these ones.
They can learn.
You can't just
they can learn. The real anime heads and these people that have an interest, they'll know about Saw this net. They'll know about, you know.
Like I wouldn't say I'm the biggest one.
But you knew Saw this net.
No, I didn't.
You didn't. Oh, Saw this name is. Yeah, that's right. Like,
okay,
you said they have an interest in anime, and I was like, yeah, that's right.
So all the anime heads are going crazy right
now.
They're
thinking, yo, I know that one, man.
Yeah, no, because like my brother, he's a proper anime thing, and he would just come and he's like saying all this sort of stuff that I'm not even going to attempt to say. And obviously that brought a lot of people into the Japanese culture. Did you have an interest as well in anime?
So do you know what? Everybody asks me this.
Yeah.
When they hear I do Japanese, that's their assumption.
Yeah.
And I understand.
Because you did it legit, bro. Yeah, I don't think many people have ever taken that path.
Obviously, it was a bit guzen.
Yeah.
But I did do the traditional like educational route of Japanese. Yeah. And but at the same time, I was interested in anime, and I have watched anime, but I'm not crazy about it. At the same time, the reason I enjoy it more is because I can understand it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the language aspects plays a bigger part, more so than just about enjoying it. I enjoy some storylines, I enjoy some animes, and I have some I really like. But because a lot of the time it was a study for me as well. Yeah. Like during my study, like I'm watching, I'm thinking, oh, I know this, or I can add to this, or like, so that was maybe a bigger part than everyone else is loving anime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Because obviously they also love that to what's it called? Have it on subtitles rather than it dubbed, because they want a proper attitude. Like,
let me say right now, If you watch dubbed anime, don't watch anime.
So-
You're not doing it right, bro.
Nah, it doesn't make sense.
You
It
don't
don't-
do it
I like.
right.
I mean, I remember I saw like one part. It was in English, and there was like a Japanese version right after it was showing a difference.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't hit the
It
same.
doesn't, man.
It doesn't hit the same.
Doesn't-
English language, when you're shouting at that sort of peak, it doesn't have the same strength.
Doesn't. Have you seen recently? It's been on like Instagram and stuff. Somali dubbed anime. Have you seen it?
Oh, I've seen it. Yeah. Now, see, that's ridiculous.
It's just like small clips and scenes, right? But it's not the whole thing. It's just like
Little bits and pieces.
they're grabbing bits, and it's like, bruh.
Yeah, no. That doesn't. But I'll tell you what, though, in Arabic, it does hit.
No. That's what I was gonna say.
In Arabic, it might even be on par with, because obviously I don't understand the Japanese language.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm just hearing the sounds.
Oh, is it? That's mad.
So that's how I'm just, because you are hearing someone actually speaking. You know what I mean? But me, it's just like, I don't know if he's just saying nothing right now,
That's
or he
mad.
could be saying something.
That's mad.
So I'm just picking up on the cadences and picking up on how they would articulate it, where they,
Cadences, that's a good
where
word.
they go hard on a certain letter, where they don't, you know? But like with Arabic, it kind of has that same like formality in having strong ends to the sentence, and having like, you know, small build up. That's how. That wasn't a Japanese attempt, by the way. I was just me trying to show cadence, but like that kind of stuff. So I think obviously understanding it. So yeah, like I was saying, I think the Arabic as well. They're kind
I
of
think I've seen bits. It looks good.
Yeah.
I've never watched the whole episode in Arabic. Maybe I should.
maybe
Maybe I should, because I want to. I'm starting to learn Arabic now.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
it might be a good entry
yeah.
into the language.
You said how many languages you got under your belt now?
So obviously the English language,
Yeah.
Somali,
Yeah.
Japanese, and now alhamdulillah, I'm going to start formally studying Arabic. Like Arabic, like if someone speaks it, I can understand bits.
Yeah.
But to formally study it is different. So I want to, even when I was in university in Japan and stuff, I would always say that I wanted to take languages further and use languages in the future.
Yeah.
And they open so many doors.
Okay.
Like your accessibility to the world grows the more languages you speak.
100%.
And if you speak one language, you're confined to that language and to those people. But when you start to speak in different languages, even your perspective changes of how you understand people.
No, of course.
Like if you speak to a Japanese person in Japanese, you can actually get to know who they are. But if you try to access them through the English language, it might be
not the same.
surface level shallow interaction, right?
Now, of course, I think it's even there was that Nelson Mandela quote, which is like, if you speak to someone in their language, if you speak to someone, then you're speaking to their. I think just speaking to them, but if you speak to them in their language, then like you speak to them in the heart.
Yeah, like a deeper sense.
It's like a deeper. It's like if you come to them with their language, it's like okay, cool.
Yeah, like honestly, like I always try. Like I interact with so many different people in so many different ways, right? But any person I meet, like for example, I'll give you an example, like a Romanian.
Yeah.
A Romanian. There's so many Romanians in London now. You meet them everywhere you go, right? But just to greet them in their language and just say "Chefaj," and they'd be like, "Yo, cool." Maybe like years ago it was more significant. Now everyone kind of knows that phrase, probably. Innit? But even just that accessibility to kind of be like I see you.
It's
like
I know who you are.
Yeah,
and
like
this is your language.
it's a respect in it.
Yeah, of course.
And even like it goes further, like respecting people's names.
Yeah.
When I had an epiphany. Like obviously people used to call me Sharmarke in school, right?
Yeah.
Like 5-6 years ago, I thought, you know what? My mum gave me a beautiful name. I should start to introduce myself as Sharmarke.
Yeah.
I don't care who you are.
Yeah.
You should try to say my name as it is, all right? So yeah, that's the bigger thing of like.
I'll tell you what, that's an interesting point, because I saw it as the opposite.
Really?
Yeah, I was like, this is a tough name to be given.
Okay, yeah.
Because school, they would literally, not even the kids, it was just the teachers. It was just like, I hated my name coming up on a register.
You're thinking, what? How are they
because
going to
it's
butcher
the same
this
thing
time?
every single time. It's
Sharmarke.
like, Sharmarke.
Sharmarke.
I'll just be like, like every supply teacher, I'll just be tense until my name comes up. And then I'm like,
Was your surname up the top?
yeah.
Yeah.
So it begins with A.
Yeah. We don't want to harm the
I
surname.
know, but I feel like I've said it already.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's at the top, and then so it's coming up.
They
like
haven't even
second.
had time to warm up yet when it gets to the name.
Nah. It's like the second one coming, and they're also a bit like nervous about it. I'm nervous about it.
It's a bad interaction.
It's very. There was one guy that I remember one time he dropped me off. I think it was like one friend's like uncle or something, and he saw me, recognized me. I was going somewhere, he picked me up, dropped me there, and then afterwards he was like, "Oh, so what's your name?" I was like, "Sharmarke," and then he was like, "Okay, cool." And then when I left off,
He's
he was
Somali,
like, "No, he wasn't.
Okay,
he was like Asian."
Okay.
He was like, "That's okay, take care, Bilal." I was like, "Bilal." I was like, "Damn, man." I mean,
Man, that's
do you know what I mean? I don't think like there was. So for me, I was just kind of like, I felt like the name was a bit of a burden. It was only quite recently that I've kind of been like, all right, it's not.
The name is beautiful, bro.
It's not that bad.
Our
From one
name.
Sharmarke, I feel like other people, they don't understand my pain, but coming from another Sharmarke,
Yeah.
I believe it.
Like, I just think it's maybe even I'll go as far to say disrespectful to people that don't even want to attempt to say the name. I get it.
Yeah.
Maybe your tongue can't say Sharmarke.
Yeah.
I get it, right? But the attempt is what matters.
Yeah.
And it shows that you're actually trying. You're not trying. Recently, I met some guys and I'm telling them Sharmarke. They're saying Sham. Sharks, Shak. I said, brother, that's not my name. Please say Sharmarke. And obviously, it took a bit of fighting, but you know, we're there, man.
Well, they didn't manage to.
Yeah, well, to the best of their ability. But they're aware that I'm
Mm.
not going to just let them shortcut.
Okay.
And they will try and at least, you know, acknowledge my name for who I am.
Okay, how long?
Then now they look
think
at
you're the
you.
elite level of Sharmarke. I think you should just be an ambassador. I'm good with Sharmarke. I'm like, you've finished to the end. You've
funny,
said
man.
all 3 syllables. Okay, that's it for me. I'm good.
Nah. I try, man, but you know, over the years, it's obviously it's a battle sometimes. But
Yeah, no, of course I can imagine.
But the thing is now, look, younger, I was also like referred to as Sharky, like as a nickname, very commonly. And I used to actually own it and like introduce myself as that. But like I said, 5-6 years ago, I stopped that. But now I started the page, Sharkysensei. I chose to bring the name back because of how easy it is. Like I'll tell you, when I actually started the page, no followers, just nothing. It was called Japanese Muslim Sensei. I haven't actually really told anyone this.
Okay, and more exclusive.
I need to charge for
Let's
this.
go.
I need to charge. Look, hey, charge for this one, man. Japanese Muslim Sensei. It's not catchy. It's too long. They'd be like, "Yo, have you seen that guy on Instagram? The Somali guy,
Japanese Muslim Sensei."
They'd be like, "Yo, who's even in it?" You know? But Sharkysensei is a bit easier.
But it's short and sweet.
It's short and sweet.
Rolls off the tongue,
Exactly. So that's why I brought it back. But now when I go to meet someone, I wouldn't introduce myself as Sharky, but they'll be like, "Oh, you're Sharkysensei." I'll accept it, but I'll tell them my name is Sharmarke.
No, of course. I mean, I think that's how it is as well. I think I don't think I've ever I've gone more the Sharks route than the Sharky route.
With the Z.
With the Z.
Yeah. I think that.
But I don't think I could introduce myself as Sharks. I think Sharky is a bit easier.
Yeah.
But Sharks is like, I'm Sharks. Then it's like, maybe if it's like a short one, but first I always say Sharmarke. And then after that, then it gets to the Sharks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as someone that has obviously been in Japan, was studying in Japan, what can you tell us of like their culture as a people?
As a people, Japanese people are very different to us. Obviously, you meet individuals and you can relate to them in an individual way. But as a society, it's very different to us. And I went to the countryside. So I've been to Japan on 2 separate occasions. The first time was I was about 17 for a 2-week trip. Right.
This was like from the school.
So it was at A-level time, and at the time we went because we had to write. It was a holiday, but we always used it as an educational trip as well, right? The second time I went was in the countryside for the year, and that experience was completely different to the surface level one that we had the first time, right? And the second time I went, I really experienced Japanese culture because I tried to, as much as possible, immerse myself with the people and the culture. But for example, joining the football team, and it's called Booktok, which is not something like an after-school club. You know, we have in universities, you might have like
teams and stuff
team
like
societies and stuff, right? This is much bigger and deeper.
Okay.
Yeah, much more. And even throughout the schooling system, they have this system where basically everyone joins some sort of something, whether it's football, basketball, or sport, whatever it is. The whole school kind of enrolls into this, and they're very, very committed throughout the whole school career. And then a lot of them take it into university. If in university they don't want to do it, they don't have to. There's a structure. So these people in this Booktok, this football one that I joined, right? We train 3 times a week, 7 a.m. in the morning.
Oh wow!
And matches are on the weekends.
Yeah.
Right. Timekeeping, big thing in Japanese culture. In terms of, let's just say training starts at 7 a.m. Everyone gets there for about 6:45, 6:50. Your boots are on. You're out on the pitch, ready to start at 7 a.m. If you are late, you happen to be late, which it happens, of course. There's a punishment of the when you are late for 2 weeks. You have to do the preparation for the training. So the lining of the pitches, the pumping of the balls, the filling of the water bottles, all of these sorts of things. You have to do it when you're late. And it keeps people in check. Even if you're going to meet someone for a dinner or something, you tell them 8 p.m., right? They'll be there about 6:45. 6:50. And then if you're late, it's like
frowned upon, huh?
Very much so. So that's a big part of the society.
I feel like I definitely need to get that training in shape,
bro. It's
well,
very
they proper
good.
check you if you're late, huh? Or is it just kind of like you feel that they're not feeling it?
This is Japanese society, right? It's run, from what I've experienced anyway, right? Like societal pressure is what keeps people in check. Their policing is within. Like the neighborhood police. The neighborhood has a strong presence in their culture. So they are, I'd say, a lot of the time maybe afraid about what their neighbor thinks. They don't want to put a foot wrong because of what people may say.
Might say,
you know, oh, he's the guy that's always late. It's not something you want to be associated with necessarily. So like the society is run through these social norms and lots of unspoken rules that you have to just get used to.
Like such as
this lateness thing.
This lateness thing,
in the football team that we had about 25 people, right? And there was a manager, an old man manager, but he wasn't really involved in the day-to-day running of the team. It was solely student run. And then there's first, second, third, and fourth years, right? And there's this very, very structured hierarchy within this. So the fourth year gets the most respect. The captain usually comes from the fourth year. And in Japanese language, right, there's a set of language that is different when you speak to someone who's senior to you. It's called keigo. And keigo is used to people that are senior to you. So me and you are like, we're like the same level, right? We speak on a normal way. But if someone is senior to you, you use different language, bro. More formal language.
Keigo.
You know? Keigo.
Is that how you introduce them? Or like, is that what you say? Like, is it a sir kind of thing, or is keigo like the term that's used for?
Keigo is the word, is the term to speak about that form of language.
That form,
That form of language, which is the more respectful language, is keigo. And a first year will never address a fourth year like he addresses a first year. Do you get it? You come to a football team in London,
it's still the same.
I play for my uni football team. I captain my uni football team. Everyone is the same. You just talk and you, but there, no way, bro. No way is someone speaking. You have some wild guys come and they charge. you know.
There's always that guy.
I was there. Okay, their school year starts in about April, right? In April, a new cohort came. The first years. The guys I was with became the fourth years. The first year guy, there was one guy who, bro, he was addressing people how he wanted. And he came from a city called Osaka. And Osaka people are known to be a bit more free and, you know, they're a bit more like...
They're not as structured
as maybe like Tokyo, for example, or other cities, right? That guy, he was there addressing people how he liked. And they kind of liked it, but at the same time, they were cautious of him to be like, yo, speak properly. You know? Even though they're playing in the same football team, seeing each other nearly every day, they're telling him, yo, speak properly. Which is interesting, huh? So
and the crazy thing is, obviously, in unis, obviously, there's maybe a year or something apart, but you're not that far apart in age. It's quite like maybe 2 years max.
It could be a number of months.
Could be a number of months.
Could be a number of months. You know, so that system of keigo really runs throughout the majority of the society, even in the workplace. If you have someone who's senpai, senior to you, and you're the kohai, person lower, then you will address them in a certain way. And you could actually maybe, it doesn't always necessarily work on age. You could be senpai, senior to the person because you've been at the company longer. So they come now and they're your inferior, kohai, and they will address you in a certain way as well. So there's rules that need to be followed. And it's very, very interesting. Like the way people behave in the country, it's people are very careful of things they do and say.
Okay.
So I had one experience, even in the football team, we had females who were managers. They were called managers,
Okay,
right? And what their job was to support the men's team. And for example, we're doing football drills. If the ball goes a bit far, they will go and get the ball.
Okay. Oh, that was like
That's what they do.
Yeah.
Like for example, when a match is happening, we're playing a match.
Yeah.
They'll sit there in terms of like, if a goal is scored, they'll counter it. Like they really, really support the team in a very vital way, right? And when I first came, I was shocked at this. I'm seeing them there. They're not playing football with us. There was one that was playing football with us because she was good, but they're not playing football with us. They might even have an interest in playing football. Okay. But because they're so used to being part of the society and the schooling system, they joined the football team now, right? I asked her, "Are you being paid to do this?" She said, "No." I said, "Why are you doing this?" She said, "To support the football team." I said, "Cool, man. That's cool." This same girl, I worked with her in 7-Eleven, right? And then I saw a completely different side to her. She was more bubbly. In the football team, she's just quiet. 7-Eleven, she's a bit more bubbly. She's interacting with people. She's much more. Then I said to her, like, why are you so different here and there, right? And she said, there's enough boisterous men in the team already. I don't need to add to it. She chose to suppress her personality in that circumstance. But that's absolutely normal in that society, by the way. Like, they won't act in, like, you know.
It's very self-aware. Not going beyond their boundaries.
Sometimes too self-aware.
Too self-aware.
And I've mentioned previously in the past that a lot of the time Japanese people, when they drink alcohol, is when you start to see maybe their actual real personality. Because before that, they don't like. Another thing I'll say, there's a lot of Japanese I'm using, but you can translate it. There's something called honne and tatemae. And honne means the actual true person. And tatemae is like the formality of the person, their day-to-day like work.
Wasn't it like I think it was almost a Japanese saying where they're like, people have 3 masks, which is like for the home, for like friends, and then I think I'm butchering it. So I think it's like for the society, for the house, and for like your actual self.
I wouldn't be surprised. If that, and I think I've heard something similar before. But it's real. And this distinction between the real self and your formal self, right, is very, very distinct. Like, of course, we have it as well. Like, the way I'm talking to my friends, I won't talk to someone maybe at work, for example, right? Of course. But the lines are more blurred. There is a succinct distinction. Everyone knows, you know, and it's accepted and it's normal.
Of course.
Yeah, so that's something I learned about Japanese society and Japanese people. And actually, we have a lot to learn, to be honest. And obviously, me, when I went there, I was thinking, like, how can I maybe... like, because I'm very free. I'm very open, right? And when someone interacts with a person like myself, I want you to feel comfortable to, you know, feel free to interact with me in a normal way, right? So even I remember one interaction I had, right? The new first year, this wild guy, right? We're walking to training with another 4th year who's my level. The guy in first year, he addresses me in not keigo, in not respectful language. The 4th year...
But when you say addresses you in not respectful language, what's that like? Is it like yo? Or is it like what you saying?
Let's just say, what are you saying? You're good. But if I can give like a simple example, between a friend, you might say genki, which means how are you, right? And then if you want to speak formally, you say genki desu ka, and even more formally, o genki desu ka. There's levels of formality as well, right? So he spoke to me in a very, very like casual way.
Genki.
Kind of thing, right? The guy that was with the 4th year reprimanded him and said to him, speak properly to Sharmarke, basically, right? And I was like, yo, bro,
it's all right.
It's okay. I don't want to break the social norm, but I don't want him to feel like
he can't.
Like we can. And I did try lots with the new first years to try to speak to them on their level, even though obviously I'm a 4th year at the time. We're in that system. I was thinking to myself, do you know what? I really want to get to know these guys on a personal level rather than just it being tatemae, this formality. So I wasn't there to break social norms, but I was there to kind of, you know.
You was causing a problem. That's what I'm hearing.
However, I do abide by the rules. I abide by the rules, like lateness and all of this stuff. There was a time I was late at the end of the year to training, And once they'll come, man. That's good for me.
Okay, once, to be fair,
Once
that's
the
not
whole
bad.
year, man. Come on, bro.
To be fair, I can't really judge. I was late. Yeah.
Once, so I had to do the punishment.
Yeah.
And I accepted it, you know? And actually, another
Did
thing.
you like experience a bit of racism there or not?
Do you know what? Because I was in the countryside, right?
Because as I've seen, like, I don't know if it's the same, but like China, I've seen like, obviously when a black person goes there, everyone's taking selfies and it's like, yo, who is this? Who's just come, you know? Was it kind of like that, or was it?
So for where I was, right, a lot of the time it's just ignorance, right? So I wouldn't go as far as call it racism.
Yeah.
But my experience, I was there for a year. I knew I was going to be there for a year, right? And when I interact with people, and they know like I'm a exchange student, right? I feel like they can put up with me because they know I'm leaving in a year.
Okay. Yeah.
However, if I became a resident,
yeah,
I do believe that my interactions with people would have changed.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Put up with you, so it wasn't.
That's maybe even wrong to say, but you know, I really do feel like it's more tolerable because you know the person is leaving.
Yeah.
If a person is setting base in your neighborhood and you're going to see them daily,
then you got to check them more. You got to make sure they fall on the line.
And then they're sending their children to your schools and they're doing all of these things. The checks are more thorough.
Nah, of course.
You're more strict with them.
Yeah.
If a guy who's coming for 1 year makes societal mistakes, you expect it and you look over it.
Now, of course, how harsh can you go on them if
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You expect it.
Yeah, exactly.
More than anything. Oh, it's just that. He's just a foreigner. He's bound to make these mistakes, right? Yeah. But if you're living there, no, bro. You really, and I do really believe you should abide by their rules. And when you abide by them, and then they become to accept you, then maybe you can start to, you know, whatever you think is more correct, start to, the wrong word is, I don't want to say impose, but start to, you know, sprinkle.
That's a good word.
We don't want to impose ourselves because that's their society and how they live, right?
Yeah, of course.
But at the same time, you want to, like, whatever good you can do, you do it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. And speaking of Japan, now we got to get into the main chunk of this podcast, which is what happened in Hiroshima.
So.
And obviously, the book today that we're covering is called Hiroshima by John Hersey, who was an American writer, and you know, they say one of the earliest people who practiced new journalism, which is like this fusion of like storytelling plus like the actual facts of what was going on. And the way that he wrote this book, to be fair, was quite interesting because it's not like one sort of large fact sheet about what happened in Hiroshima. It was taken from like 6 different people's perspectives. There was like 2 doctors, 2 women, and like 2 priests that he was following from the beginning, that he sectioned it in like chapters. So the first thing that people experienced was the flashing white light when the bomb hit, and then the fire, and then what happened after that, then the after effects, and then, you know, so it's like through those different stages of the bomb, he's following the same people and like how their lives were affected, which I found was great because otherwise it would have been quite long to sort of read about, because we kind of know, we've heard so much about it before, but to kind of know on a more personal level by following certain person and be like, okay, let me see how they actually dealt with it. You could relate to it a bit more.
Yeah, definitely.
But obviously, if you said you've been to Hiroshima, is it, because I've seen kind of like videos now and stuff about Hiroshima, and it feels like it's a proper like tourist kind of destination. Like there's that, I don't know if it was a tower or like
dome.
That dome thing, that still like survives.
Still standing.
And like people take pictures. How is it like when people go there? Is there like that solemnness about it, or is it just a tourist attraction now?
I think it's a mix of both. I think there is, but when people go there, even as a tourist, you won't behave how you would behave in Tokyo, for example. Because you know you're going there to see the history of that thing, the atomic bomb, that monumental historical event. So because you're going there for that, you will have this solemnness with you. But you're still a tourist.
You're still a tourist,
So it's like it's a blend, right?
Yeah.
So you see like people, you know how like a normal tourist place like selling like wristbands and stuff like that. It's happening. It still happens, definitely, and like origami and stuff like that. It happens on the side, but the main thing people go there is for the atomic bomb museum. And In an English word, is to say to pay their respects.
Mm.
You know, to see the effects of
what happened,
the bomb,
Yeah.
because obviously it was the first of its kind,
Mm.
one of two,
Yeah.
and obviously this it's a very, very sad historical event. And
No,
when
it
you
is.
read the book, it's very sad,
Yeah.
actually, like to see how it affected people's lives
Yeah.
and the shock of not knowing what it was,
Yeah.
and the after effects, all
Yeah.
of these sorts of things. It's a very sad thing.
Yeah.
Even when you go into the atomic bomb museum, which I think most people go for, and obviously to see around and stuff, and you can see actually there's a pinpoint of where the bomb actually dropped.
Is it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like the point of where the bomb actually dropped. Like it's very sad.
Yeah.
When I went inside the museum, I was taken aback. You see stuff like there's prints of people's silhouettes on walls
Yeah.
from the blast
The blast, yeah.
and stuff like that.
So crazy.
And
So
like-
the thing that, just to give a bit of context, the prints that obviously Sharky is talking about is the bomb itself was wild because it also exploded before it even hit the ground. And when it did, it let off the first thing was like this white light that hit, and then so everything that was like next to that bomb and the explosion, wherever was there blocking the light from hitting a certain object, that's how the person would just be like shadowed and imprinted for like ever, really.
Yeah.
So like there was a guy that was painting or something, and then like you could see things. But I think the most famous one is like I think a guy on the steps, and then he was there, and then obviously he blocked that light from hitting the steps, so his shadow was imprinted from
on the steps.
Yeah. Wow. Sorry, go on.
It's tragic, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like when you see like some remains of people, and like you see the deformities of the people that have come after.
Yeah.
Like, even if you survived and you suffered the heavy radiation, you have children that have like maybe loss of limbs and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very sad.
No,
It's very, very sad.
It's wild to think that happened. And obviously we'll get into, I wanted to ask you a personal question afterwards.
Okay.
It was not so much personal, it's quite a moral question.
Okay, wow.
So be prepared.
Bro, I got to prepare myself, man.
Yeah, no, because it was kind of like, reading the book, the first chapter is about this white light that we're talking about, this flash, right? So just to give a bit of context so people can understand the gravity of it, because the bomb, obviously now the movie Oppenheimer coming out and all this kind of stuff happening here, and the regret that he felt doing this thing. When you kind of know the facts about it, you kind of realize just how wild this is, and how, to be fair for me, like how sick you'd have to be to make something that has the capability to do this. So like the bomb, when it exploded, it reached like 7,000 degrees Celsius. And I can't even imagine what level of heat that is. So anything that was next to it is straight away getting burnt up, crisp. There was a river near the dropping point that just evaporated. So everything in a quarter of a mile was destroyed, basically. 70,000 people died instantly, like straight away. And the first thing that also people experienced, people that weren't right next to it, because they would have died straight away. But if you was a bit further away, further than a quarter of a mile, then you would be blown back by that first like white light, that shockwave. And then so then it was crazy, because if you did survive from that distance, then you'd still be hit with the burns. You'd feel like you were being cooked, but there's no fire around you, because it was like that hot. And then in that heat that you're being cooked, it's opening up your skin to like blisters.
Yes.
And then those blisters are again hit with radiation.
Oh my goodness.
And then when you think that's done, then it starts to rain, because of the moisture that all that heat has created. It's gone up now to the clouds, and now it's coming back down as black rain. And then that has got radiation in it, so that's also getting you. So it's like, the guys that like sort of made the bomb, was it just like because obviously it has a nuclear reaction, so it's going to keep going and going and going and going. But did they have in mind how much it would destroy on like an atmospheric level? like for example, that it would be so hot that rain would come down that has radiation in it? Or was it just like this is a big explosion that's going to take them out and then we're good?
But the radiation, the nuclear radiation, is the thing that makes it different.
Yeah.
Like the why is it different to any other large bomb? But obviously the sheer power of itself was, I think it said something like 20 times more powerful than the most powerful bomb that was ever used in warfare prior to that. Yeah. So the actual, like you said, the initial shock and the power, but in terms of the radiation is the extra thing, this nuclear thing. And that's why there's even till this day this nuclear
warfare. Yeah. Because it's that gives the extra power. Because in that nuclear fusion, it's just little atoms blowing up.
That's where the power comes from. But the radiation that comes from the nuclear is the extra problem as well. So I don't know if the person who created it would have known that. And there's actually quite a famous picture of the smoke cloud that comes out from Hiroshima.
That mushroom looking.
Yeah. It's very famous. And I don't know if the person anticipated that the rain would come from this cloud, this forming, but it's disastrous. It's
wild.
No, you can't even find the words to describe how bad it is, to be honest with you. And to see that a couple of days later it was done in Nagasaki.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a bigger bomb.
But I think the one makes it more monumental is the first ever.
The first ever
bomb being used in Hiroshima. And when you read the book, it's the shock of the people that you're thinking. They're thinking, what kind of bomb is this? They all have their kind of their conspiracy at the beginning.
Yeah, of course.
Gasoline was spread and all of this sorts, and that's what they're saying. Yeah. So they don't know. They're there trying to deal with whatever is happening. Yeah. And I think that's what the good part. That's what I kind of liked. It was he was focusing on like just normal people going about their day. So like one lady that was at a certain place and just living her life, and one guy that was at a hospital. Yeah. And each person he was talking about like when they survived it, because these were people like one of the few that survived the first initial whatever, and they all kind of said it was like just good fortune and like serendipity that I didn't take this earlier train. If I had have taken Qadr of Allah. They're saying all of this serendipity, but
but that's literally that, honestly, and that's what it is. And I've realized it because it was also we had another author on called Midge, and she wrote a book called Piccadilly, and Piccadilly was bombed as well in the World War. And a lot of that, again, it was that serendipity thing of like, if only it was a club, I didn't go to that. I went to the club every day, but I didn't that day, and then it got bombed, and then so it's kind of like it's always kind of crazy. But the point I wanted to take from that is it's always interesting that you kind of look at it like, I just survived that. Always in a negative context, like you just survived the car crash because you didn't take this thing. But I think it could also be looked at in a positive sense of where you've got to because you met. So obviously it's all Qadr Allah, of course. But it's like because you met so and so and this and that happened, and then like it's very rare that we look at hindsight positively. Yeah, it's always kind of like.
But the best people, I'd say, they always find the positives in any negative. And that's what you should do. Yeah. Like even if, like for example, the most extreme case of the death of someone in your life, right? Yeah. If I believe personally, if that has caused, obviously there's lots of grief at the time of the death, right? Yeah. But if it causes goodness to come thereafter, then I would even go as far as say it was good for you that happened.
It's a blessing, huh? And in disguise.
Yeah, and even if when someone has a near-death experience, for example, if it brings them close to Allah, then it's good for them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's good that you had that car crash. It's good that this has happened. So your eyes are open now, and
because sometimes you might need something drastic like that to shake you. You know what I mean? Some people might need something like that. Yeah. And also so like with this one, it was that kind of like, because it was just normal people going about their day and about their jobs, that you could kind of relate to it more. And then every day there would be like a different air raid that would go off because there would be planes that were flying over, whatever have you. But after a while, they just kind of got used to it because no bombs were coming, but planes were still flying over. Yeah. So people like just kind of waited and like, okay, fine, just is what it is. Yeah. So then they just get blasted off by this white light and a white flash.
But the interesting thing is, sorry to disturb you, is that when the normal, I think it was 8 a.m. The normal raid was happening, the siren, The siren went off and they got the all clear.
Yeah, they got the walker there. Yeah.
Everyone got the all clear at 8 a.m. The
Yeah.
bomb happened at 8:15. So those that survived, they're thinking, didn't we hear the all clear?
Yeah.
Like the all clear that nothing was going to happen.
Yeah.
So that's why we came out of our house and started going about our day and stuff, right? So that's another shocking aspect. They thought they were safe.
They thought they were safe.
And the bomb happened.
And the bomb came down from like, I forgot how many thousands of feet up in the air in like 30 seconds, 34 seconds.
Crazy. It changed warfare forever.
Forever. Yeah,
100% it did.
But then the craziest part again was because obviously a lot of the Japanese culture and the way they make homes was through like wood and timber and stuff like that.
Yes.
So then when the bomb hit and the little fire particles and stuff like that and the wind started carrying them everywhere was just getting
worse. The burning is worse.
The burn up everywhere.
Yeah. What I found interesting was this, I think, what was it, a church that these Catholic priests, these German Catholic priests who are one of the main characters were staying in. It mentioned that they were fortified by one of the previous priests because of his paranoia to earthquakes. Right. So obviously it's very common in Japan to have earthquakes. So that building was quite fortified. So it stood, but I think it was burnt eventually because of the fire. Another thing I found very interesting about that, which relates to Japanese society, was the bomb happens August 6th, right? Everyone is trying to make sense of what's happening, trying to survive, trying to help whoever they can. This chaos is happening, right? The next day, the priests go off to somewhere else, and one priest stays behind for what reason? To file a claim to the local police about their building getting built back. Because they remember the clause in their contract that said, if your building is burnt or destroyed through warfare, then you can claim it back for it to be like rebuilt by the local council, for example. I'm thinking to myself, the bombings happened August 6th. August 7th, this guy is going to the local police to claim for the thing to come back. He's writing a claim. And that just shows you, like, you know, something crazy has happened, right? But that normality, their systems are very strong in Japan. They're going back to the system. The guy stayed back so he can file a claim. I'm thinking, I'm trying to get as far as possible.
Bomb has
just been dropped. I would be thinking, I'm trying to get as far as possible from this place, you know. But he's going to file something for his church to be rebuilt. It was quite astounding. I was shocked by that.
No, that is very wild. And then as the days went on, weeks went on, and then months, that's when people started seeing like actual. So now it's like the bomb disaster, the fires, and that was kind of like calming down a bit. But now there came this radiation disease, and then it was like people like losing hair, getting cancer. I forgot all the other ones that was happening as well. There was one of the ladies in this, her hair started falling off because one of the people that were tending to her started like combing her hair. They realized a fat chunk went off. They did it again, and then they realized an even more bigger chunk, and then she was like, yo, something's happening. And like anemia was like going rampant, and it was like, again, it kind of goes back to like, that's what makes it sick in a way. The fact that all of this stuff here happened, because a bomb is like instant hit. That's it.
People die, people get burnt, things are blown away.
Things are blown away.
Carry on with life.
And after that,
Usually.
But then here's like, no, months and then years on, doctors are finding different things out. And that's what, again, it was because he had it related to certain people. I think one of the priests even died as well because of the radiation.
One thing I would say about the book is, at the time, I think it was a year after he visited Hiroshima to go and interview all of these people, and it was groundbreaking stuff because the average American person just understood that a bomb was dropped and they had won the war and Japan had surrendered, right? And this obviously gave them a more, like, an insight into the daily life. Like, you can say you can relate to the person more. He's just literally getting up to do his normal daily life, whatever he's doing, right? But at the same time, this author, he chose people that maybe, like, it's 6 people, right? Out of 6 people, 2 of them are Catholic. 2 of them are doctors, right? And when I read it, like, lots of it had a theme of this Catholicism.
And no, that was funny enough. Someone actually was saying something about that, which was the people that he chose were very specific.
And they're not really, And you know what? This is another thing, right?
And one of them
doesn't
even
speak
loved
Japanese.
America as well, no?
Huh?
Well, I think one of them was even a big fan of America.
He loved the Americans.
Yeah.
This guy who, prior to the bomb being dropped, was being suspected of being like a spy.
Spy.
This Japanese guy,
exactly,
because he spoke English so well and he had connections with Americans, right?
Yeah.
They were suspecting him of being a spy. What did he do? He joined the local neighborhood. He became like one of these people that organize evacuations for the neighborhood. Why? To clear his name. Like I told you, the people police each other.
Yeah.
And he's done that to clear his name through the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Which I found that so profound as well.
Yeah.
Like, people are making these rumors about him, and he thinks, myself, I need to prove
myself to the
Japanese-ness.
society.
I'm a patriot. But Japanese people are actually quite patriotic, to be honest with you. To be honest with you, the general person is.
Yeah.
So he's done that now to clear his name, right?
Mm.
But this author, John Hersey, he doesn't speak the Japanese language.
Yeah.
Right. So his access to who he can interview is quite
very
limited.
Yeah, of course.
And it's an interaction with people who maybe have an American leaning or even English like leaning personality or way of thinking.
Yeah.
So I thought that was quite limited.
Mm.
If somebody who spoke Japanese had written the book, maybe even a foreign person who speaks Japanese, I think would have been
of course,
much deeper insight.
Yeah.
If a Japanese, I'm sure Japanese people have written it, but the reason this is so this book is quite famous is because of this thing that you mentioned, new journalism and this way of writing, and to the English reader, right? But I'm sure there are much better books in Japanese that I might even actually look into, to be honest, to maybe even compare. But
I heard even the Japanese translations in this wasn't that great.
Really?
Yeah.
The guy, I did see, like, it said something along the lines of people saying, help me, tasukete kure.
Yeah.
And I saw, when I watched a review on YouTube, this woman who was in the review mentioning that, and it's true, to be honest. In the book, it said something like, in a polite manner, the person said tasukete kure. Tasukete kure isn't that polite.
Okay.
It's quite casual.
Yeah.
And the woman, she expanded and she said, he could have said something like tasukete kuremasen ka or tasukete itadakemasen ka. These are more formal ways. And no one in their right mind is going to be saying something like that.
Yeah.
And there was that, to be honest. And so his actual insight into the Japanese person isn't very deep.
Yeah.
So the book I think is good for its time and what it's done, etc. But I think it could have been done much better. Yeah. To be honest.
You're saying that's a open position for you, yeah? Hey, that build-up play was sensational. The fruit ball's now for you.
No, I'm not anybody who can now start critiquing these people. But it's just my thought, innit?
No, but I mean, obviously, it gives the point of, like, because you speak, again, you'd be speaking to the heart.
Yeah.
That's what you do.
That's what that's actually why you need asking, languages, to be honest. Yeah.
But actually, because obviously this guy's from America, New York Times. That's probably why he even got big, because he's from the New York Times and, the best-selling and this and that. And because it was so fresh and different to how it felt at the time and the bomb being dropped and, And I think to sort of kind of wrap it up on the book, now comes that question for you.
Is this moral question?
Just comes the moral question. Okay. Because obviously, before I read the book, everyone had that interest of what actually happened at Hiroshima and all this kind of stuff here. So then I was watching one video where they were looking at both sides of it. So the Americans' perspective of dropping the bomb, and then they had the Japanese reaction to that being done, Yeah. And the American side was kind of like, firstly, some of them were like, okay, cool, they did that madness at Pearl Harbor. Mm-hmm. And then the other one was kind of like, the Japanese will not stop fighting. They will die to the last man. Right? This might even be their main point, right? They will die to the last man. So everyone's fighting, every grandma, every kid is going to come out to the streets if we touch their land, right? So if we bomb this place here, it might kill thousands, even though they would say it's small, like thousands, even though it's like hundreds of thousands.
800,000. The population of Hiroshima was 200,000.
Yeah.
And 100,000 people were dead.
That's how they would, kind of justify in their heads, a few people would die, as they say. Or, we could just keep fighting and then all of them might die,
So the thing is, the war will be prolonged if we don't do this.
If we don't do this. This is it.
It will save more lives if we
that was their thing. And obviously the Japanese thing is like, yo, this is inhumane. This is obviously against all this kind of stuff. But then on the flip side as well, it was kind of like, because the Japanese, they were also doing madnesses abroad, places in like Singapore and all those kind of you know, areas.
The way the Japanese are portrayed in modern day society, like they're very like, I don't know, like, I think people overlook the
because they did atrocities as well.
Many
atrocities.
Many.
It wasn't like they were just sleeping in their homes and then a bomb just hit them.
Many.
It was kind of like they were doing madnesses as well, and it was kind of, okay, if we can stop a war right now, we can do it, but we're using this method. Then that comes the morality of, if you was in that position as the president, do you continue fighting or do you take that option? Or is that too heavy?
This is mad.
I feel like this is
that's mad though, isn't it? Because
that's what it sort of boils down to, you know. Because I don't know. Maybe even saying this gives too much respect to the Americans.
Yeah.
But were their hands tied to no other option?
Nah, I don't.
Because their old president died, so new guys has just come in. With all this stuff happening, all these wars going on, etc., they just got hit by Pearl Harbor. They're feeling a bit, you know. And some guy says to him, "Yo, we have a
nuclear bomb.
we have a solution if you want this, you know." Because they were bombing, like Tokyo was getting bombed, this and that, but it wasn't this atomic bomb. It was just kind of, so they were like, "Okay, we did try the bombing method. Nothing was happening. These guys were still fighting." So now.
I feel like you are actually pushing towards that direction of, you know what?
I just want to get a clippable moment, man.
The last 5 minutes you've been going down the route of, do you know what?
So
this is more of a devil's advocate. This is like you're siding with the idea that, do you know what? It's better that they've done it to save lives, maybe. That's what I feel like you think. Sharmarke.
You know, I'm not, it's Sharkysensei here.
Hey.
As a man that's touched the soul of the Japanese, that knows who they are.
I touched the soil of the Japanese. I don't know about the soul of the Japanese.
That's a good point.
Hey,
that's a good point. But you know what? Actually, let me not put you on this moral.
I don't know. I actually don't know. I couldn't.
It's a tough one.
It's very difficult to be honest.
To be fair, I asked the question.
Yeah.
Because that is the question that is out there.
That's the biggest.
Even the people that make those videos about the question, they also always say, "We'll leave it to you."
Yeah.
So I think to just put it on you to answer would be tough because
it's
a tough one. It's a tough one in many aspects, but obviously I think it's just when people look at the more humane sense of it, like dropping the atomic bomb on anyone is in the move.
That's why
nowadays that's what Russia's threatening, and you know, but it's happening. But let's not get too political.
Nah,
you know,
don't want to get too political.
This is a happy podcast about Japan. But to just kind of wrap it off on a more positive note.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you've been to Japan. Now you've got a tour of Japan.
Oh yes.
Yeah. So tell us a bit more about that.
So the idea came because a friend of mine was mentioning, like he showed me some Mario Kart videos in Tokyo.
Yeah.
And he said you should take people there and guide them.
Yeah.
Because you know the place and the language and stuff. And then it started from there. And then I realized how many people like myself there are who love Japan and Japanese culture.
Yeah.
So this thing of someone who maybe grew up in the West, who has a Muslim identity, and tries to abide by the Islamic laws as much as possible, and also has an interest in Japanese language and culture. So I thought, how can I bring these together?
Yeah.
In a way, because when you speak to people, they always say, I would love to go to Japan. Japan is on my bucket list. You hear that from
almost everyone.
Exactly, right? So prior to this idea coming about, I should say, I was introduced to a Japanese Muslim brother who lives in London.
Okay,
and that was, again, Guzen. Like, he was by chance, right? Yeah. He was a friend of a friend kind of thing. Where, how can I say this? I was supposed to be at the place where he was, but I wasn't there. My brother was there. And then, obviously, people know that I study Japanese and stuff. So they saw this Japanese guy, he's a Muslim. Yeah. They're saying, yo, what? Like, he's Japanese. Like he grew up in Japan. He grew up in Japan. He's been in the UK for like maybe the last 5 years and stuff.
Okay,
right? And he became Muslim a couple of years ago. So someone called me. I was in bed. I was ready to sleep. It's like 10 o'clock. Someone called me and said, "There's this Japanese guy."
Yeah.
And he's a Muslim. I said, no way. So
that got you up, huh?
Bro, I got up, man. I was up in a flash.
Yeah.
I got up and we started speaking on the phone for about an hour.
Yeah.
Mainly in Japanese. Because it was exciting for me because when I'm here in London, I don't really get the chance to speak to people in Japanese.
No, of course, I can imagine.
And lots of the people that I speak to in Japanese, we can't connect deeper because I feel like... this thing of Islam brings us together much closer.
Yeah, of course.
We're like, we are brothers, actually, to be honest, right? So when I was speaking to him, it felt different, like to any Japanese person I've ever spoken, because we're speaking about Islam in Japanese. So it's a different facet, it's a different ball game now, right? And then we got to meeting, like we met up a number of times and became friends. So when the idea came to me, I proposed it to him. Do you want to do this thing, right? And we've branded it as the first ever Muslim-friendly Tokyo tour. Right, so inshallah that'll be happening mid next year, maybe around June next year, inshallah. And me and him together, what we have, our skills, Japanese language, us, like me myself, an understanding of the culture of the people of this country, the Muslims anyway, because I grew up here. Him a very deep understanding of Japan and Japanese culture as a Japanese person, and someone who himself is actively studying the religion of Islam. Me myself, I try my best as well. So bringing this together, our skill sets, we have the ability to do this thing.
Of course.
So when people go to Japan, for example, or think about going to Japan, some of the main barriers are, number one, language. Because really, the Japanese, their English isn't maybe the best.
Of course.
So the language barrier is a big thing. The familiarity with the place, the thing about halal food, right? So we thought, why don't we facilitate something that makes this easy for people, and they can go, and people really want to go, right? So that's what we're going to do, inshallah, and it will be 2-3 times a year at least, inshallah. We want it to be something regular.
2-3 times a year.
Yeah. So the first one is going to be obviously the first ever Muslim friendly. And thereafter, obviously, we have to stop that name because we would have done the first one, inshallah. And thereafter, we'll kind of be like, we're taking people there regularly. So we're starting off in Tokyo, and we would love to. People are always asking me, what about other cities and stuff? We would love to expand and do
Hiroshima?
other things. Hiroshima, why not?
Why not?
Why not? Like the possibilities are endless. So we'll start in Tokyo, inshallah. And then thereafter, we can look into maybe other cities. We're thinking another exclusive.
Here we go. Sharkysensei.
Well, this is just an idea at the moment, right? But actually tracing where Islam entered in Japan, like literally the boat that it came in on, that where it docked, that port, and doing a trail of Islam in Japan. So that is something we're thinking of. The tour, what it will consist of, inshallah, is meeting Muslims there, eating the best halal food, going to Mount Fuji, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah.
Going to another small town not far from Tokyo that has a strong Muslim community, and meeting like mashayikh, the sheikhs there that have, for example, translated the Quran from Arabic to Japanese. So they've got deep understandings of Japanese culture, language, and also of Islam. Someone who's translating the Quran from Arabic to Japanese, they hold some weight, you know. So it's that's what we're doing, inshallah. And the other side of it is the language side that you see Sharkysensei doing words and stuff. And in the future, inshallah, we'll be taking on students and teaching those who would love to learn the language. And
which I'm sure a lot of people definitely would.
There is an interest, definitely. And that's what it is for now. So that's kind of what we're doing. And inshallah,
inshallah, it will. I mean, your Instagram is also doing very well.
It's doing okay, I feel.
It's doing quite well. For someone that's just kicked it off. You know what I mean? You hit the buttons, you hit the right buttons.
Do you think so?
Yeah, honestly.
I don't know, man. I'm quite skeptical.
I was going to actually ask, how do you feel about your Instagram and kind of putting content and putting yourself out there?
So I've always been a fairly social person in general, but this is maybe taking it to the next level. Like, and I'm ready for it. Prior to starting the page, I knew that if it does go well, then I'd have to maybe, like, your life kind of does change, I guess. It's like people recognizing you and stuff. It's not just normal. But by the way, me, the way I am, right? Like, even my friends, they know, if I'm very, very sociable, like I go out I'll just start a random conversation with a random person. And so I don't mind it. To be honest with you.
What you're saying now, like someone might recognize your page and be like, they already know who.
Yeah, they know who I am before
you even.
And I don't know who they are. And I guess that's all right.
Yeah,
just have to get used to it. I was speaking to my friend yesterday, right? Some people, they do this thing, right? They be like, bro, where do I know you from?
You look familiar, but where?
Bro, where do I know you from? But by the way, lots of people say that to me before Sharkysensei, because my face is just like if you look at my face now, it's like quite a generic Somali face, right?
Generic, honestly.
I'd say so fairly.
I think, what do you mean by generic?
Like, my features aren't outstanding. I've got like,
I feel like you put me in a box here.
Like normal, like nose, mouth, eyes, whatever, right? So people say to me, "Oh, have I seen you here before?" I feel like they're mistaking me for somebody else because and it happens fairly often.
Yeah.
So nowadays when people say to me, "Yo, bro, where do I know you from?" And I'm thinking, is it that thing of my face is a bait Somali face or normal Somali face, or is it they actually know Sharkysensei?
Yeah. So
like, anyways, it is what it is, right? So I guess I have to get used to that. I don't think it's a big problem.
Nah, it shouldn't be.
Because
especially, I mean, it depends on obviously what you're putting out.
Yeah.
And I think for your one is like something that a lot of people would be interested in if they're interested in the Japanese kind of culture. So it would be people that you would want seeing your page kind of thing. As if you were saying madnesses.
I don't think I'm controversial.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you were controversial, then if someone says, where do I know you from? Then you're like, oh, something I said.
I have a friend that I'm quite close with. And I asked him this recently as well. Like, some may seem to be slightly controversial, right? I don't seem to be, but he may have people that dislike him. So I asked him, like, has anyone ever came up to you on like, yo, bro, I know who you are kind of thing? And he said he's had those kind of interactions, but he just navigates them as best as possible. But more than not, it's good interactions, I guess, as well.
Yeah, no, of course, because obviously Sharkysensei is... it's a lovely page, man.
Jazakallah khairan, man. I appreciate that.
Honestly.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, like, I've learned a few words.
You've learned some words, yeah. That's the thing that makes me the happiest, to be honest with you, right? Like, the people, if they're actually benefiting from the content and they're starting to learn the language, that makes me really happy. Like, the weekly quizzes that we do on our page, I love to see people getting things right. And when I do some translations, like, I might say something on my story and say, what did I just say? And people respond. I'm happy to see people making mistakes. I'm happy to correct
people
them.
actually trying.
It's amazing. I'm happy to see people learning, getting it right. Actually, you know what it means? Like, when I release it, okay, cool. Watch, like, oh, Somali guy, Japanese. Further than that, right? Like, let's actually get into the language, right? So it means the person's watching, interacting. When they respond to the quizzes and my stories of translation, it makes me happy to see that they're getting it right.
Yeah, exactly.
It's because they've watched the video. And I don't ask anything I haven't taught on the videos. So seeing that makes me very happy, to be honest.
I can imagine. To be fair, what you're doing makes us all happy.
You're too nice, bro.
And obviously, I appreciate you so much for jumping on, for coming on. And honestly, I personally can't wait for the Japanese trip, inshallah, as well as for whatever else you bring out. I'll be an avid Sharmarke supporter.
Inshallah, man. I would love to come back on.
No, 100%.
If you'd have me, I would love to come back on.
Yeah, we got to have you on for a few more episodes, inshallah. Yeah, like I said, thank you very much for coming on. This has been your boy Sharmarke from the Paper Trails podcast. And if you guys are liking the content, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. It really does help us out. And we will see you in the next one.
Also, follow me.
Come on,
bro. Follow Sharkysensei.
And of course.
The YouTube will be up soon, inshallah.
Yeah, it will be.
By the time this video is up, I believe we will have something on the YouTube, inshallah. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. So.
No, 100%. And obviously check out our boy Sharkysensei right now on Instagram, but he's going to eventually expand to many different places. And obviously, you will not feel bad checking it out. It's a treat.
You're too nice.
All right, that's it then. Thanks for listening to the Paper Trails podcast. If you like this episode, please leave a review, comment, like, and subscribe. and be sure to follow us on all our socials.
Keep moving, keep growing, keep learning. See you at work.